All right, guide life is for real, and you guys want to know what it's like. You have a dream job. You have the best job in the world, right? No, this is a pain in the butt sometimes because it's equipment failure. It's constantly dealing with maintenance stuff. My Skeeter trolling motor, that's right, Skeeter's right over there, trolling motor. The steering sensor went out on it. So if you're ever having an Ultrex problem, right, and you're pressing on the pedal and the pedal won't turn, it's like really hard to turn one direction, it's because your steering sensor went out. So today I'm forced to take this trolling motor off of Dad's Ranger, and I've got to put it, Dad and I've got to put it, well, once again, when I say I've got to put it, Dad, because he's MacGyver, man. He's MacGyver. He just fixes everything. Look, if you need something done on your boat, I'm telling you, the guy's the guy. So we're replacing that guy right there. Yep, we're replacing that trolling motor with that one. How-to video, how you do it. Emery's chilling out. What up? All right, first things first, I think you just disconnected power.
Step number one, you're working with 36-volt trolling motor, so you have got to take a power lead off of a battery that goes to the trolling motor. Now I have zero power going to the trolling motor. Now I don't have to worry about getting electrocuted or shocked as I'm in the process. So in order to be able to take this trolling motor off, it's not just a simple swap, because the whole everything kind of goes with this thing, including the foot pedal and the electrical connection. So I've got to be able to get inside of here and undo basically take out the electrical connection that exists on this guy. So one of the things that we're doing here is when we're replacing the trolling motor, we also have to worry about the transducer. Okay, we both have Panoptix transducers, which isn't a problem. The problem becomes when I take this trolling motor off and put it over there. I've got to unfish wires all the way back to the black box, and I can't really do that in this situation. I've got to be able to leave this one here, because my black box goes all the way up underneath the console. Austin's goes into a box. So I've also got to take the transducer, the Panoptix transducer, off and then put it on the new trolling motor respectively. Okay, so what we got to do when we take our Panoptix transducer off of this guy here, I've got to be able to cut the Panoptix wire off this. You got to be very, very careful. You can simply remove the tape to be able to get off there, or you can cut the tape, because there's no way you can reuse this tape. Okay, so I'm going to go down this entire unit and pull wires off so that I can then get that transducer off of there. Taking the transducer off of here is basically the reverse process of the mount, right? So I'm just going to loosen up the transducer mount. This is just the standard mount. This is not the sideways mount or the perspective mount that comes with the transducer or the upgraded versions of the Panoptix. One of the things about replacing a trolling motor head with another trolling motor is you have to have a compatible trolling motor. Okay, this is an Ultrex trolling motor, and Austin also, thank God, has an Ultrex trolling motor. You cannot put an Ultrex on a Fortrex mount. Okay, so when I'm replacing trolling motors, I'm not saying I'm going to take everything mount and all and swap them on the boat. So all I have to do is unscrew this head here, this basic unit, and put it over there. I've already unscrewed all of the foot sections. I've already disconnected the power lines, and I've already taken the cable, the transducer cable off this. So what I need to do now is I need to pull the main nut that holds this on, and I'm going to show you this. It'll take just a second, but as soon as I get this it's an Allen wrench that goes in there. I think it's a 1/4-inch Allen wrench. As soon as I get this off of here, this whole trolling motor will be completely and utterly loose. Okay, so right now it's locked down. So I've got the handle or the foot pedal on one side, and I've got the regular trolling motor. So all I do now is I take this, I'm going to go put it over on the other boat, and then I'm going to take the other one and bring it over here. That's it. So now we're on the new boat. We're on Austin's boat now. So what I've got to do is same exact order. I have to take the battery lead. It doesn't matter which battery lead, as long as I'm not getting voltage all the way to the front. So I'm going to take a battery lead off of this. What that does is that interrupts all signal going to the front. So now I'm going to go up to the front and do the same exact thing. I'm going to dig in, disconnect the power, take the transducer off, everything, and then just start reinstalling the new one and put the other one back on my boat. It's that simple. It obviously takes some time, but it's really simple. Just like that, the new trolling motor is on the other mount. Okay, so now in reverse order, all we do is we want to screw down this trolling motor and start putting everything back together on each boat. Okay, both boats are completely taken apart. Now we just need to figure out how to put them all back together. Just go in reverse order. It's pretty much super simple from here on. All right, so one thing you got to make sure of is you got to make sure that you're connecting power to power, right? And this is the old adage right here. So I've got a red wire down inside of here. I've got the black wire with the red on it. The black and red is the hot here. So I need to make sure that connection is hot, and then I need to make sure the black is connected to the black. If you don't, you're going to have a reverse polarity, and what's going to happen is your trolling motor is actually going to spin, you know, in a backwards motion. So when you go forward, it's actually going to go backwards. So you make sure you get the right polarity on this, or you're going to have a problem. Okay, so we just connected the power in the back. Now I want to make sure it comes on in the front, right? So what I'm going to do is turn this on, and you're going to hear a triple little beep. And in the Ultrex, every time you have power on, it goes beep, beep, beep. Okay, so here it is. So you heard the beep. Okay, now I know I'm good with the power, and now I can function the trolling motor as shown. Okay, so I can move it around, because now I need to turn the pedal. I need to go ahead and put the pedal down onto the base and screw it down. Okay, and that pedal has to move because it can't just be in any one position. We haven't mounted the trolling motor, the Panoptics back on there or anything. We want to put everything back inside of this base, and then I want to work from the Panoptics transducer back and then cover everything up. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the Panoptics transducer onto the trolling motor. Okay, so right now the trolling motor sits like this. This is forward. When I put the Panoptics transducer on here, this is the back part, this is the forward part. So what I want to do is I want to put this Panoptics transducer on here, and I want to eventually get it on here. So I want to make sure that forward is facing forward and backwards facing forward. I also want to make sure that when this is all said and done, that this transducer also is exactly parallel, because the magic of this transducer is that it shows what's going on live in front of you based on where the trolling motor head is facing, which the head always faces towards the US2 part of the trolling motor. This is the back and this is the front. So I want to make sure that I have this facing the correct direction. Okay? Okay, so now the transducer is mounted on here and it's nice and straight as far as with the direction we're going. I also need to make sure that we can put this in a down view at a later date, right? So when I put the trolling motor in it down, I want to make sure that I have enough of this transducer wire sticking out where it's not going to get crimped and caught. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to be able to make sure that I take the transducer cord all the way down the trolling motor pedal cord here to make sure that it's not flopping around. It has a good stiff rigid part to it. Okay. All right, guys. So now I have the foot pedal back inside of here, though it's not screwed back down yet. And what I want to do is I want to measure the wires that I have. See all this wire? I want to be able to pull these wires through so that my connections aren't necessarily super tight, but I just don't have really loose wires hanging out all over the place, because it doesn't make any sense to have a lot of loose wires. Okay. Okay, so we're done with the project on Austin's boat. I still have the other boat to put back on, but it's been about 45 minutes. We've taken one trolling motor off of one boat, put it on the other, completely installed. So Austin's good and ready to go now on this boat. Everything's back to exactly the way it was with the new trolling motor. Again, I can't stress to you guys enough, do not use zip ties on your cords, because you're going to break the microfibers down inside of your transducer wires. It's very important. Don't do that. Okay, so just use black tape. A lot of guys are like, man, black tape just doesn't look right and it peels off. You know, I get it. You're right. It does. It peels off and it doesn't look fantastic. But you know what? Make it look right. Cut it. Do whatever you got to do. But don't use zip ties, because you run the risk of cutting the microfibers in $1,000 transducers, and that is not cool. Okay. So outside of that, Austin's ready to go fishing. I'm gonna go ahead and put mine on, and we're gonna be all square. All right.
Just like that, Mike Guyver. You get it like MacGyver and Mike. If you have to explain a joke, it's probably not a good joke, but Mike did it again. Back on the water for another trip tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. See you.